we are seeing persecution on a scale we've
never
seen before.
Right.
And this is what you did your PhD in, this whole Islamic. I want you to help me understand who IS is.
Well, IS is just another one of those movements. It began, this Islamic extremism as it's known in the media. They call it true Islam. Not the one that's tainted with the West and the one that people are westernized Christians or reinterpreting the Quran to fit the modern day, which many are doing, which is great. But this is what they call real Islam. And it began with a movement in Saudi Arabia known as the Wahhabi movement. Abdul Wahhab, who started this, he said, the West is corrupting our religion. We need to go back to purity of Islam, meaning go back to 700 AD culture, not just religion, but culture. That is, absolutely go back to the dirt of the desert. Wow. And it caught slowly, but because of the colonialism and Western power being in the Arab world, it did not really take hold for a long time. Out of that came another movement in 1920 in Egypt known as the Muslim Brotherhood, founded by a school teacher by the name of Hassan al-Banna. And he founded that movement ostensibly to defeat the British and end colonialism, but also to bring Wahhabism, which a Saudi, to this point, a Saudi movement, into Egypt and then the rest of the Arab world. He wanted to unite the Arab world under this Wahhabi flag. And since the Muslim Brotherhood, there are metamorphoses. They kind of, every new group that comes out of the Muslim Brotherhood movement, it becomes more extreme. So you have, from the Muslim Brotherhood, a guy named Sayyid Qutb, who was more extreme than Hassan al-Banna. This is in the 50s, and then he was killed by Nasser. Then from that came another movement called Takfir wa Hijra. And they were basically have the same principles. Want to kill Christians, either convert them or kill them, Islamize the world, bring the caliphate, another word that gets bandied about. Caliphate means successor to the Prophet. Bring that original succession to the Prophet Muhammad. And from there came jihad. When Takfir wa Hijra got caught and put in prison, and every movement that is born from the previous movement is more extreme. And from jihad came Al-Qaeda, where actually the members of jihad in Egypt, many of them were killed after the killing Anwar Sadat. They joined together with Osama bin Laden and formed Al-Qaeda. But because of the secular leaders in the Arab world, of Egypt, Syria, Tunisia, and they basically put the lid on them, so they escaped to Afghanistan. And I think from that point on, most people are familiar with the story, how they went to Afghanistan, how they plotted 9/11 and so forth. But this new group that is born out of Al-Qaeda says, Al-Qaeda, these are Sunday school kids. Wow. They're too tolerant. Wow. And even Al-Qaeda leaders are horrified by what ISIS is doing. I mean, it goes to show you. And I think one of the questions we've been getting from people is this really real or exaggerated? I can tell you, it is not exaggerated. In fact, it is played down because of the gruesomeness of the things they're doing. Things I can't talk about and stay in my emotional zone. It's absolutely horrific, horrendous, beyond any measure. When our Secretary of Defense, Hagel, said, it's like nothing he's ever heard or seen in his lifetime, then you can understand this is beyond the pale, what they're doing to Christians. And their aim is, of course, to control the Arab world. Of course, they're taking Iraq and Syria, and they would like to go to Lebanon and Jordan. And from there, they would love the prize, which is Saudi Arabia. And that's their prize. They would love to take that. And the problem is, it puts these leaders of Saudi Arabia and Jordan and so forth on the defensive. Are we going to fight and kill our fellow Muslims? What are we going to do? And it's it becomes a dilemma for them.